Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and in the dead of winter here in Michigan, there's plenty of stuff to do. One thing we don't normally think about, though, is hibernating bears. Well, this week I got a chance to tag along with the DNR, a bunch of wildlife biologists, and they were tracking a radio-collared bear, a sow who had a bunch of cubs, and they went in to do some research on them. Jimmy's got some other exciting stuff for us this week, too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show, and we were hoping to bring you some ice fishing, but all of our ice fishing trips this year have kind of turned into, you should have been here yesterday. But one thing that has gone pretty well for us this year is the rabbit hunting. We're going to have one of our last rabbit hunts on this week's show, and then we're going to head over to the east side of the state and show you what you can be doing with either some of your new or some of your old guns. That's gun dipping. You're going to want to see that story. It's pretty cool. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53 just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown. For this week's show, I was headed down to the very southern part of the state on a beautiful piece of property, tagging along on one of our last rabbit hunts of the year.
Finally got on a couple. That makes about 6 we got, so we're doing pretty good.
Tell me about this rabbit, how quick that was.
It took about 5 seconds. We walked down, they jumped, they're coming right out, and we killed it that easy.
That's a pretty good start to the day.
Heck yeah.
Later in the year, especially in around the middle of February, rabbits start breeding, and they run funny. They run real funny. They start ganging up. You might run 2 or 3 out at the same time, and they run a little bit different. And then this time of the year, it gets hot, and the running is not quite like it is when there's snow on the ground or cooler weather. So we prefer hunting in early December right on through not early, maybe middle December up until January and early February, and then we quit.
There you go, 4 more.
We were off to a great start, but the rabbits were a little camera shy. Finally, on our 5th rabbit, we were able to get the hunter, cameraman, and rabbit in the same spot.
Oh, yeah, I got him. Let him get past that girl.
Yeah, baby.
Tell me about that rabbit. I had a little trouble getting to my camera so
Yeah,
far.
this is I think our 5th one we've killed, and I think the first one on camera. Yeah, dogs did a really good job. Yep, so.
We're about, what, 100 yards into the property?
Yeah, at least the house is right there. Yeah, that's great. This is a phenomenal piece of property. So, all right, let's get some more.
when a rabbit jump, if you jump a rabbit at a certain point, you usually stand near that area where you jump, and if the dogs run him right, they'll run him around in a circle and bring him back close by to where he initially jumped, and then we try to get him. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they go in the hole. And I know some areas we hunt, they have coyotes, and if the coyote pressure is kind of rough on them, they don't run right, they run funny. But we basically just try to jump them and stand around and let the dogs work and bring them back to us. And, you know, that's all part of the hunt. If we didn't have the dogs, we probably wouldn't even hunt them. You know, we just like doing the dog. We love the dogs. And I grew up with it, and so did my friend John. So that's basically what it is. You know, you just try to find a good cover, find some good cornfields or soybean fields, and find the swamps that are nearby. And you know, they usually rabbits, a good rabbit habitat, they'll sit around that area, and then you just go in and try to get them up, get them around. He's coming. You get it?
Got it.
Right!
You guys have been practicing quality rabbit management, waiting for the camera, huh?
You got that right. We had a lot of chances, but every time the camera was with the rabbit, the rabbit went somewhere else, you know, so had to keep moving around. Finally got on a couple. That makes about 6 we got, so we're doing pretty good.
Well, so far it's unbelievable. Great piece of property. I've never been here, and Rabbit Whisperer saved it for us just for today. So he said it was going to be a good day, and he didn't lie to us. Well, I don't think we've covered a portion of this property.
Well, my parents bought the property in 1968, and so we've been here for quite a while. There was a lot of changes over the years, but we started putting in green fields for the deer and piling the brush for the rabbits, and you know, trying to upkeep it for the animals. And Dad was always a big hunter, so he did a lot of things to help the hunting, because he was a big hunter, big coon hunter for many years, and that was the main reason he bought the property back in '68, was just so he could coon hunt here. And I sure enjoyed it in my lifetime when I was growing up here, and wish my dad could still be enjoying it with me, though. I really do that. Then we got to 40 here, and with the neighbor Otis, he's got his 37 acres, so we've always had basically a good chunk of joining property, and I've got about 300 acres I can hunt on the other side, so there's a big chunk here that I've grown up on, and probably know every little tree and every little stick and just about every creek there is around here. So, but I spend a lot of time in the woods. I enjoy it if I'm not cutting trees and trying to help out for the environment, you know. If it weren't for work, I'd be in the woods all the time.
Although everyone was enjoying the rabbit hunt, the main goal today was to get kids involved in the outdoors. The habitat we were hunting was excellent, with plenty of rabbits, but that's not what today was all about.
Got this is our second time doing this with Jordan, and I'd like to do it every year if we could. Actually, I'd personally like to do it every week, but it's not feasible. You know, just having the boys out here and your friends, results, that's a bonus. It's obviously just the experience of getting to go and what makes up the trip in general. I would love to see my boys out here doing the same things, you know, and this is what it takes, you know, to get them out here and, you know, just slowly get them into it, and if it takes, it does. It's so much better than, there's so many things that can lead them down the wrong path these days, and doing this, it's wholesome. I mean, it does not get any better than this. This is what we were put here to do, and I think that's just how it should be. So I think we're off to a good start.
That's 4 shots and 3 rabbits, so I ain't complaining too bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was cool. Yep, that was neat. He was
I think I got him coming right out of the pile and everything.
Did you? Yeah,
Kinda
that was
lost in the
neat. He
thick
couldn't have
stuff.
come out more perfect.
Yeah, I was just getting set up, and all of a sudden, boom, there he come out, but I
Right.
think I got him.
As always, you know, the terrain and everything's exceptional, you know, for rabbit hunting, but it's the most difficult for you, Jordan, to get the footage on camera. So we did our best, and we had a really good day. We even passed a few rabbits trying to get some more footage, but it was a really good day. We can't complain. Thank the good Lord for the good weather we had, and just a good time and camaraderie and the fellowship.
After several hours in the woods, the day's hunt was winding down. Pleasant weather, good setting conditions, and plenty of rabbits had made for a great hunt. And the fact that we were able to get a few on camera, well, that was just a bonus.
Okay, today we had John Hammock and a good friend of mine. We rabbit hunt together all the time, and we had a couple of boys. Had Todd Robbins and his 2 sons, and we had the landowners out walking with us. So we had a good hunt. We shot about 11, 12 rabbits, and we all got 5 beagles. I got a couple black and tans registered, and John's got a couple. So they're good straight dogs. They run a good rabbit. Mainly, we come out. We don't try to kill them all. We just try to kill a few, and we want to get some for Jordan to put on Michigan Outdoors. So we basically just come out and have a good time, bring the kids out, get them started, and try to do the same things we used to do growing up.
The storylines for today's hunt were endless, and whether it was a father and his son spending time in the outdoors, 2 old friends continuing their love for rabbit hunting, or just soaking up one of the last rabbit hunts of the year, no matter how you slice it, it was a great day to be in the woods here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, one cool thing about being a part of Michigan Out of Doors Television is that we get to do some pretty unique things once in a while that not just everybody gets to be a part of. This week, we're going to show you, I was able to tag along with a crew of DNR wildlife biologists as they track down a radio-collared bear sow and her 3 cubs to do some wintertime research on them.
We're in Alcona County today, and we're going in on a sow that we've had a collar on since 2009, and she's denned up, has a couple yearlings with her. So we're gonna go in and get her a new collar and weigh her, check out all of her young, take some blood samples, things like that. What we'll do is 3 of the guys will go in with a dart gun and then maybe a jab pole, depending on how the sow is kind of situated. They're not gonna know until they get there. She could have moved since last time they were there. So they'll kind of go in, figure out how they're going to tranquilize her, and then figure out how many young are with her also.
A lot of prep work goes into this operation before hitting the woods to find the bears. Using radio telemetry, Dan is able to determine the radio-collared sow is still fairly close by with her 3 cubs. Darts for a dart gun are filled with carefully measured medication to sedate the bears. Wildlife biologist Mark Borzen shows us how this dart gun works.
CO2 cartridge, pressure gauge, a barrel that is basically a simple tube. It's brass. The dart slides into the back of the barrel, and I push it up about 2 inches. Then I slip the barrel on the CO2 gun, and I can increase or decrease the pressure with 2 different buttons. Now I'm increasing the pressure. I can take off pressure too. And then when I'm ready to launch the dart, that's all there is to it, just pushes it out.
Cool.
It's just it's a more accurate way to blow a dart than a blowpipe, which I've used a blowpipe.
This is no simple operation. Lots of medical supplies and research equipment will be packed into the woods to stabilize the sedated bears and gather lots of information in a short amount of time. The radio collar is a key part of this procedure.
This will be the collar we'll be putting on the bear today. We're replacing the collar. The collars usually last about 4 years, the batteries in the transmitter do. But we like to replace them about every 2 years. And on this collar, what we do is we actually put this little leather breakaway on here. And that breakaway will last about 2 years. So if we do have a problem with the transmitter and we can't get back to the bear to remove the collar, then this leather will give and the collar will drop away, allowing the bear to go on without a collar. That typically doesn't happen because we do get back to the bears, every year. But just in case something happens, the collar will fall away from the bear.
Helping out today are veterinarian Tara Harrison from Potter Park Zoo and George Bohart, a veterinary anesthesiologist from MSU. Our crew would also include the landowners whose property the bears are on.
So we are on private land today in Alcona County, and we worked with the landowners to gain access to the den. They were very helpful and gave us permission to go on their property. and they did go along with us, so it was a good educational experience for them as well. We took several field biologists, wildlife biologists with us to help with the monitoring of the bears, and today we also had a couple of veterinarians that volunteered their time from Michigan State University.
No, we haven't moved her. She's the way she was when we got here. There she is.
Just very gently, I used a blowgun to gently place darts into each of the bears, and there's different doses for each of the bears, appropriate doses for their weights. And within a few minutes, they start to feel the effects of that drug. It just makes them comfortable so that we can work on them. There is no sensation of pain while they're under the drugs that we give them. But from the moment that I deliver the darts into the bears, the monitoring begins to make sure that they're breathing well, and we'll watch them as their consciousness level goes down and they become unconscious and completely sedated. So monitoring continues throughout the entire procedure. We use a lot of medical equipment that we can take right out here in the woods to make sure that they have enough oxygen in their systems. We can give them oxygen right out in the field. Any other drugs that may be appropriate. If we're having some problems, we could administer other drugs. Today everything went really well. All the bears were very comfortable. They will wake up and not remember anything that went on today. So everything worked out very well in this procedure.
The team of biologists, technicians, and doctors work very quickly and efficiently to gather the information they need while constantly monitoring the sows and cubs.
After they're all sedated, one by one, we carry them out. We put them on foam pads or a canvas tarp, keep them dry. We had a lot of people in there today because it takes a lot of monitoring when you have 4 bears that are all sedated at one time. So we come pretty well staffed for a den like this. But first thing we do is we change that radio collar. That is very important. That's the only way that we're able to keep monitoring this bear, is to make sure that she is a fully functioning radio collar.
Mark says our bears here in Michigan don't hibernate the way you might think they do.
I still consider them hibernators, but it's a different kind of hibernation than what most people think of. They are conscious. They will drop their body temperature a little bit, say maybe 10 degrees. Some small mammals will drop their body temperatures to just above freezing. So bears don't do that. Their body temperature drops just a little bit. Their heart rate drops a little bit, but they are fully able to jump up at any moment and run off if some danger were to become present where they're denning. And then we check the condition of her ear tags. We check the condition of her lip tattoo. We have a permanent tattoo inside the right upper lip of the bear. We make sure that's still visible, and if it isn't, we can reapply it. We did tattoo each of her 3 yearlings, so they also have that permanent mark. We did not ear tag those yearlings, so that is the only mark that's going to remain on those bears. And today is the last time we'll see those yearlings.
The work is wrapped up quickly before the sedatives wear off and the crew starts cleaning things up.
We take some general measurements, including weight. Weight just kind of gives us an idea of how they're doing. If we see any big changes in weight up or down, it might indicate some other problem is going on. We really don't do much treatment of any long-term medical problems that they may have. So after all of that, we basically weigh the bears. That's one of the final things we do. And then we tuck them back in their den, basically as we found them. And sometimes we add a little bit, a few pine boughs or a little bit more cover. This bear was in a very open den, so we gave her a little more cover. She actually has more shelter now than what she did before the procedure. So we do that, probably more to make us feel better maybe than the bears, because they do just fine. They do fine out in this weather. The snow piles up on their backs on a snowy day, and that's how they spend their winter.
Once the bears are tucked back into the den, it's time to pack up and leave the area before the sedatives fully wear off. Mark says they administer the smallest dose possible to get the job done.
Probably within an hour or two, all of the bears will be awake, and they won't remember any part of the procedure.
The radio collar was replaced, the cubs were tattooed, and all the research data was gathered from this sow and her 3 yearling cubs. Projects like this help us to better understand the behavior and health of our black bear population here in Michigan. This team did an awesome job of gathering the information we need to keep a healthy bear population here in Michigan's out of doors.
Well, special thanks to Jenny and for the DNR for letting us tag along on that really cool story. It's good to see what some of our DNR folks are doing out in the field. What we're going to do now is shift gears and show you what you can be doing to maybe some of your old guns, maybe some of your new guns, to kind of give them an entirely new look. If you're looking for a way to set your gun apart, or maybe give an old gun a facelift, well, we've got the place for you. Tucked away in Bay City is this unassuming spot with lots going on inside.
Well, we're in Bay City, Michigan. We're Altimate Automotive and Michigan Hydrographics. We basically do custom car audio and show cars. In fabrication, we do fiberglass work, we do metal work, paint, hydro dipping, you know, a lot of it's just custom stuff for show cars and that type of thing.
Now, Dave and I met through our Facebook page, and when he told me that gun dipping was one of their new processes, I was kind of intrigued because I was actually trying to find a place that did just this kind of work.
When you come in and start, if you, depending on whether you had a wood or synthetic stock, the stock or parts would get prepped a little bit differently depending on what it is. Metal would get a self-etching primer, wood would get a primer sealer. Then we lay a base coat of paint depending on what pattern and stuff we're working with. You would you know, put typically a light base coat down on it. And when you lay, this pattern actually comes on a film, which we would lay in water. It's basically a heated tank of water. It sits there for 1 minute and gets sprayed with an activator, and what that would do is dissolve the actual film itself, so what you have is ink floating on the water. And then like with this particular stock, you would go in and actually dip the part, and what it's doing is etching or embedding itself into the paint itself.
I had kind of an older Thompson Center with a muzzleloader barrel and a short little 20-gauge turkey barrel that I've been hoping to do a little updating to. Now, this process these guys go through is really pretty interesting. Once the base layer is put on, the guys will paint the gun parts as well, so they're able to take the ink from the dipping process. The timing has to be just right to make this work, but to see the final product makes it all worthwhile.
It's been a really positive response. Like I said, we started January 1st of this year, and I've been having, you know, 10-15 calls a day from all over the state. It seems that there's just not a lot of people in the state that are doing this, and if they do any kind of hydro dipping, it's basically just a deer skull, the European mount type things, or they're dipping for friends. You know, it's not really a business to them, it's more of a hobby. And like I said, we get calls from Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Port Huron, Alpena. So actually the response has been a lot better than what we expected for, you know, just starting out and getting the word out there. So, I mean, that's been a pleasant surprise.
Now, most folks will ship the stock or parts they want dipped to the guys here, or you can call and set up an appointment to drop your gun off. I was amazed at the quality of the patterns as it comes out of the water, and just so you know, it's easier to tell you the patterns they don't have than the ones they do.
There's hundreds and hundreds of patterns out there. We have 3 separate companies that we go through that we order patterns from, and each company probably has over 100 patterns available. So, I mean, you have everything from carbon fiber to like a marble, a brick pattern, burl wood, camos, and then you have your designer patterns where you have flames, you have skulls, you have zombies, you have, I mean, there's just a multitude of patterns out there to choose from.
I have been at a few bow companies and watched as machines dipped bow risers, but had not seen a gun, stock, or barrel being dipped by hand, and it's pretty impressive. As you can see, the image, it literally wraps around the barrel and totally changes the look of the gun without harming any of the interior. And in fact, most times, the action or parts of the gun that will rub are taped off or not dipped at all. I chose to take the scopes off the barrel, and as you can see, the results were pretty amazing.
Well, Jimmy, here's your gun. It's all done, your final product. Everything is warranted against any peeling, bubbling, anything like that. Thankfully, we haven't had any issues with it, but she came out pretty nice, and good luck with it deer hunting in the fall.
Well, come fall and spring, I plan on taking these to the woods, and even though the guy pulling the trigger is a little suspect, the guns look great. Thanks to both Dave and Shane for showing us just what is possible for some of the old or new guns that we have in our gun cabinet.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stay tuned over the next few weeks. We've got a lot more exciting brand new stuff to bring you, including a little bit of ice fishing, hopefully, if we have any luck out here. We'll check out some new archery gear, all kinds of good stuff going on. If you ever wonder what we're up to, you can always check us out on the web.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Our website is MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com, and you can find us there, full episodes of the show every week. And if you do the Facebook thing, we're on there pretty much every other day or so, letting you know what's going on as we try to bring you 52 brand new episodes here in the great state of Michigan. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Zimmer Roofing and Construction in Port Huron, featuring Duralast roofing systems made in Michigan. Zimmer Roofing and Construction provides installation, maintenance, service, and repair, serving commercial and residential clients on the web at zimmerroofing.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows that include the Ultimate Sports Show in Grand Rapids. Over 350 exhibitors, outdoor gear, boats, seminars, Lake Ultimate, and Big Buck Night. The Ultimate Sports Show at the DeVos Place in Grand Rapids. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man.